3, 2, 1. We are look, wrong cam. Showing off a little bit, Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Sunday. We're here early. Normally, I'm here at 7 and nailed it right on 1 o'clock as promised. Today, we're going to be giving away some stuff you guys hopefully saw. I can show you some of the stuff here. Whoa, it feels heavy. So hopefully we'll get some people here today, and instead, it's my birthday today, so I'm celebrating, and you guys are welcome to to buy around because I'm going to be having some later on. But today, instead of that, I'm giving away gifts, so you guys will get a chance to win various things that I have. I think I got 3 or 4 things here, so we'll be giving those away. Thank you guys all for the birthday wishes. I got a lot of that up on Facebook and Instagram, which was really nice. Got to get up early this morning and go. We went and watched the soccer game and with my son, and I already got back from a run. So it's been a good day today. So I thought I'd get with you guys and we could talk about the first thing we want to talk about are all the happy birthday wishes. We'll talk about camshafts real quick because I still continue to get this that the guys are wanting to put, especially on smaller motors like 5.3s and 4.8 LSs, and even other motors like the 5-liter Mustang. And the thing that's interesting specifically with that one, because we've covered the LS stuff, if you're going to run a 4.8 or a 5.3 and you're going to run a turbo on, put a small cam in it. You will be much, much happier. It will do all the things. Then the turbo will you can just turn the turbo up to whatever power level that you want, whatever the turbo will do. The exception to that is if you're wanting to make, way into the 4-digit stuff and you need enough camshaft to make that happen. But for the vast majority of us, you will be much happier putting a stage 1 truck cam or a truck Norris or any of the from Tick or Texas Speed or Cam Motion. And that's the thing, I can only test so many cams from so many people, so I can't test everything from everybody. But if I test a cam that's a 212 218 from one manufacturer and another one has a 212 218 with very similar specs, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. If you have that one, yeah, it's going to work too. But you'll be much happier putting a smaller cam in and then running that with boost than you will putting the bigger cam in. The exception to that is there are guys that want that cam to sound like it has a cam. Your truck sounds meaner. Maybe it's not as responsive and ultimately not as quick with the cammy sound, but it sounds like it's mean, right? And so I can understand all those reasons for choosing it. But you in the long run, the vast majority of us are much happier with a small cam and boost than they are with a bigger cam and boost, unless you're trying to make a lot of that, out on the big end and you want to run lots of RPM. And then with the 5-liter deal, it's interesting too, because the things that happen with a 5-liter, unlike the LS, is you actually have to change a lot of things on the 5-liter to even get it to do what an LS kind of already does. So unlike the LS, which already has good cylinder heads and a good intake manifold, even at 4.8 or 5.3 or 6.0 or any of them really, even more so with the rec port stuff, because they've got lots of head flow. But on a 5-liter, you have to change the heads if you're going to make decent power. And I know I'm going to upset all the E7TE guys that port their own heads, but those heads are not great. And so if you port the heads or if you get aftermarket heads, you're going to be much better off. But the thing that I don't understand is where it really comes into play is the vast majority of 5-liter Ford from its original version in 1986 is when the Fuelie happened, and then the good one, that was the 200 horse version, and then the 225 horse version happened in 87. But since that introduction, most of the intake manifolds that were available for it, except when they started introducing the short runner stuff, they were all kind of long runner stuff. And the thing is, if you put a big cam in it and you combine it with that long runner manifold, you're kind of clipping both ends of that. You're clipping both ends of that with the long runner, clipping the top end with a long runner manifold, and you're kind of clipping the bottom end by putting more cam in it. You're trying to push the power up with the cam, but the intake is saying, look, I'm a 6,000 RPM intake manifold, and that's where I want to make power at. You can adjust that a little bit with a rising rate boost curve, whether you do that with your electronic boost controller with a turbo. I don't see that happen as often as I do with a centrifugal blower, for instance, because they were really, really popular, especially back in the day for the 5-liters. So if a guy was trying to do that, you're much better off combining the right intake manifold and the right camshaft if that's where you want to run it. But like for a 5-liter, a long runner manifold really works well, even more so than the LS stuff with a mild camshaft. And again, like all of them, you know, put the right turbo on there and run it in the right RPM range, and then obviously, you know, good things are always going to happen. Lots of, lots of happy birthdays, more boost, all of that. Yeah, happy boost day. That's all good. We need more 302 content. We need more 351 content. I guess we just essentially need more content, right? Is that what the thing is? Yes, yes. Do you plan on testing different cylinder heads on the Magnum? Yeah, I think eventually we will. The Speedmaster guys offered up a set of heads, and I think I maybe like to try Edelbrock's, although I've tried the Edelbrock's on the LA motor, and I think I'd kind of like to try the trick flow heads maybe. But the thing is, like with other heads, you need enough motor to work with that head. And I think, like with most of these junkyard motors, the Achilles heel kind of is not the fact that you came from the junkyard. You know, oddly enough, it's that you don't have adequate piston to valve clearance to run a really good camshaft. And I haven't measured it yet, but I'm almost certain that the Magnum is going to be like the small block Chevy and the Windsor and everything else, that you have a limited amount without putting a piston in there that has valve reliefs to accept, you know, a real kind of camshaft. And not a 600 lift camshaft. I'm talking about, well, and it could be a 600 lift camshaft, but more importantly, it could be a 230 or 240 degree duration at 50 camshaft, because that's kind of where you're going to make your power. Not so much with lift, although you should combine that. They should kind of go together. But then when you do that, obviously your springs have to be right, and there's the retainer to seal clearance and coil bind clearance, and all of those things have to be right. But also, I'd like to look at some of the, we need more Oldsmobile content. I agree. I would like to look at what some of these aftermarket heads flow out of the box. The interesting comparison, like on the Dodge Magnum, would be what the stock head flows, and then what some of these aftermarket heads flow, and then what a good, properly ported Magnum iron head flows, and then what a ported version of some of those aftermarket heads flow. And I know everybody wants to factor in there the cost on a lot of this stuff, and I usually don't take that into account, but maybe I should, and maybe I can. Okay, so I know we're getting close. I'm up at 194,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for all of that. I'm thinking we'll be at 200 before too long, and maybe we can do something bigger. Do you have to do springs and push rods on a 4/8 cam swap? It depends on how big the camshaft is, and the push rods are going to depend on what the base circle of the cam is. If you change the base circle dramatically, sometimes you do. If it doesn't change dramatically, it doesn't. I honestly don't think from a strength standpoint that you have to do that. Paul, overcam reduces pressure without reducing flow. So you're more on the bigger cam side. I'd like to see more V6 4.3 liter testing. There's a lot more left on the table. I agree that I've only ever run, I ran the torque storm on there, and that was at 12 or 13 pounds. And we ran one that didn't belong to me that had a turbo on it, and I don't think we ran it more than about 400 horsepower or something. So there's guys making lots more power with those. Aaron, unless you get trick flow 190s or ported Speedmaster heads that flow really, is for aftermarket Mopar big or small block. I think that don't they have aftermarket big block heads that flow better, like 440 heads? I have a set of trick flow 440 heads that I'm sure have to flow a lot better than a factory 440 head, because I know that the factory ones essentially flow like small block heads. What kind of piston did you have to put in the 5 liter with a 205 blueprint head and the 274 cam? It's the one that came with it. It's some kind of remanufactured short block that has 4 eyebrow pistons in it. And honestly, I don't think I ever checked piston to valve clearance. In the way that you phrase that, I'm thinking that I should have, because I know that cam is iffy. And then with a big valve head, it should certainly be iffy. I have an 87 Formula 350. It's now a 383 stroker. I have the original TPI with 36-pound injectors. She runs rich. A Formula 350 came with 36-pound injectors from the factory? Or did you? Yeah, they're not that big, right? They were 24s or something, and you put 36s in it, and you can't just stick bigger 36-pound injectors in it and hope that it's okay. It would definitely need to be tuned. Why do you run so few Mopar engines? I just have never run them. I only had that one 360 that I've ever owned that I can remember. I do have a slant 6 that I'm running. The Trick Flow Big Block Mopar 270s are max wedge style heads, and they flow very well. I heard that they work pretty well. We need Rover V8 content. Nice. That would definitely be other guys. Although, you know, the interesting thing is I see, and this maybe doesn't surprise a lot of people, but I do see a fair bit of Rovers in the local wrecking yards. Richard, have you ever messed with 2-liter Ecotech stuff? I have not. There's an old Silver State race video on YouTube where I'm young and giving a short interview. Yeah, that might have been one of the first ones that we did. The Nova's still there. Every exhaust needs back pressure between the valve and the turbo. Yes. And especially if that back pressure is a function of how much boost pressure you're running, that would be good. The TFS heads are some of the best big block and small block Mopar heads. I thought that, and I would think that would be true. That the latest heads that come out, you know, in succession, you would think that the newest ones would be the best ones, because you would think that those guys would have done their homework and said, okay, well, this head does that and this head does that, and if we're going to bring a head to market after these other people have, then it needs to be better, and so we should make ours better. Buick Olds 215 content. That really would be cool. I was on American Ninja Warrior. Yes, I did I trained for 4 seasons and waited in line for 2 seasons. How good is the LY6 block? That's the one that we did the big bang on. So we made 1,500 with it. Yeah, and if you make a 408 out of it, you don't have to have an LY6 block. You can have any iron 6-liter block. They'll all do the same thing. The LY6 is going to be a Gen 4 block, so that might be a little bit better. It actually has I like the head stud holes and stuff better and the communication on the Gen 4 block. So, but if you're building a 408 and NA one, all of them will work. There's lots of good stroker stuff out there. Summit has stuff, and SCAD, and everybody. Yeah, I'd say it's better to undercam, better street manners, better low RPM power, and if you need more top end, just turn up the boost. That's right. A Rover 4-liter, 4.6 Buick Olds 225, Buick 300, 340. So for NA, we overcam with a converter. That would be good. For turbo, undercam and add more boost. There you go. Those are good combinations. If you max a supercharger out, would it be the same blower speed to max it out? Well, there are multiple limits on the blower. One of them would be impeller speed, and it's really bearing speed for them. I don't think that they're taking into account that the tip speed of the impeller is actually going to go supersonic and damage itself. Usually it's a bearing rating for the blower. So they have a maximum blower speed. Racers exceed that all the time. So the number that they're giving you may or may not actually be that. The flow rate is another thing. If you run the blower at the same speed on a motor that's more powerful or bigger, what will happen is you'll make more power, and it will happen at a lower boost, which is beneficial because that supercharger is going to process more air when it's moving against less of a restriction. With your YouTube game, do you get recognized out in the wild? I do occasionally. I did at Costco recently and over at UPS. Is there such thing as too large of an injector? Yes, there could be, because if you can't get it to idle well, depending on the size of your motor and the idle needs, that could be a problem. Where's the cake? I am having cake later, and it's even ice cream cake. So let's give away our first thing. I'm thinking that for the guys that are here, oh, almost fell over. I'm thinking this is the very last, because the other thing I need to do is I need to go back, and I gave away 2 T-shirts before on live feeds, and I need to go back and look see who won those so that I can get those out. But I have one more of these Killer Bee Racing shirt. This is from when I was racing U.S. touring car back in 2000 when we won the championship. I have one. This one is a large, and that's the last one I have, so I don't have any other sizes. So we'll play a game here, and we can pick the winner, and I can even write it down and make sure that I send it out. So we'll ask a question, and then you guys can answer that. And then we're going to randomly pick from everybody that answered the question correctly. So let's say, how fast was my land speed record in the Maxton Mile in the Chevy Sprint Turbo? So who can come up with that answer? 205 in a Chevy Sprint Turbo, in a 1-liter Chevy Sprint Turbo in the standing mile. That would be a lot. So this is going good. So maybe we won't even have to pick randomly because nobody's even close yet. Well, we have somebody that's close. It was faster than the stock one. We went faster in the standing mile than the stock one. I think was rated for even top speed. So no one yet. I would like to see a turbo 307 Ols. So no one yet. Keep going. Keep going. Throw out those numbers. Scott, 93? Really? Come on. This thing had 110 or so horsepower at the tire. Casey, Casey for the win. 118.9. That's as close as you're going to get. So Casey, send me an email to this email address. And I'm sure that you know what it is, but send me an email to that. Yeah, we set multiple records, the fastest of which was almost 119 miles an hour, depending on which configuration it was in. And after we had, depending on how many ice cubes we had shoved into our little 1 gallon, I think it was 1 gallon, we needed a reservoir for our intercooler, our air to water intercooler, and I wanted to run ice water. So we went to the store and got a 1 gallon gas can and just punched holes in it. And ran, I think what did we run? We ran some kind of pump that we had. It might have been one of the circulation pumps that we had from the Civic. But the downside to that was the opening in the gas tank was like it would only fit 1 ice cube at a time. So we had to sit there and load ice cubes. And as we were doing it, obviously those are melting away. So we got a good ice load in it and ran it. And this was about as much. I think the thing would make 110 or 120 at the tire on a really good hero run on the chassis dyno with the stock turbo on it, because that was about the limit of what that stock turbo would do with that air to water intercooler. And it had a slightly bigger downpipe, but the stock exhaust manifold and stock camshaft, and it had a mildly ported head stock intake, and that's as much as it would do. And so and we were tuning it by adjusting clicks in the vane meter, and I had an adjustable fuel pressure regulator on it. And so that was a lot of fun. But I knew that if I was going to do it again, and we were going to go to Bonneville, because that number was already higher than the record at Bonneville. And then we also, before one of the runs, it may have been before all of them, we lowered the car too. The springs were so soft on that little 1,700-pound car that we used hose clamps. We just went to the store and bought hose clamps and then used 2 hose clamps on each side, or we maybe did it as trios, and then just used the hose clamps to to squeeze the coil springs down, and it worked pretty well. It actually lowered the car. So that was our lowering kit, where the the radiator hose clamps, that worked pretty good. So that was a lot of fun. So congratulations, Casey. T-shirt. Nice. And we ran that on, I think we ran that on a mixture. I didn't run on E85. It definitely would have made more power on E85. I don't know how much injector we had left to do that. And I don't know if we could have, well, we maybe could have tuned it with vane meter opening and adjustable regulator and injector size. But I didn't run it on E85. We ran it on 191. Is the Killer Bee a reference to Group B racing? No, our car that I had, I'll show you. Let's see if I can get this down without breaking stuff. The car that we had that I raced in, U.S. touring car that we won the championship in, was this. So this is the Del Sol that I ran, but you can see it was yellow. And we put black stripes around it. The one thing, and we made them smaller and smaller so that it would look like a bee, basically. It looked more like a bumblebee, but we called it a killer bee because our logo, the graphics for it, you can see was this big guy right back here, which is probably the coolest one, our killer bee guy. And so we wanted to make the car look like, like this part of it here. The only thing I didn't put on there that we should have, that everybody told us that we needed to do, was obviously we should have put a stinger on it. But we never got around to that. But it was still awesome. That was a fun car to drive, and I had driven that same car and that's the reason I bought it. I drove that same car in Motorola Cup, and just like the car, we worked well together. Happy birthday, Richard. In celebration, I watched the Engine Masters episode show about your 1,543 horsepower stock bottom end. I hope you revisit with a bigger map sensor. Yeah, we should. Probably not with that motor. I think that motor is maybe done. I've seen tennis balls and coil springs to increase the stiffness. Yeah, I've seen people drive nails into the bushings, all kinds of weird stuff. Stock max speed is 103. I have all the data on my Sprint. It's called the Sprint log because I went out when I bought the car. Those are the first couple things that we did. We went out and on our top secret test facility, Area 52 outside of Las Vegas. I went and made runs. We had a radar gun and a GPS, and then we made runs stock. And then I documented all, because I wasn't doing chassis dyno out there when I had that car. So we would go out and make changes to it, and then we would register top speed and stuff. And so I think that 100 and change was about where it was, 103. I think that's probably about right. I'd have to go back and look up the logs and see. I just wrote all the stuff down. Okay, then we added this intercooler and it lowered the charge temperature this much, and here was our cruise fuel mileage, and I did all of that stuff. And so I was, it was crazy. Yep, forgot to pull the vacuum line off. Phil just got here from the garage, 187. I like all of the things where people were saying that it went 212 and 231. That's great. That's awesome stuff. So coming up, we have I'm looking forward to some stuff on my next trip down. Maybe the Dodge will be ready, but definitely the Magnum will be ready, but maybe the 2.2 liter turbo will be ready. I need a pretty long stretch of 2.2 stuff because I have a lot of testing for it. And so I have a lot of things that I want to try, but it's still going to have to be done in segments because there's so much testing there. I will do some pump gas stuff. We'll do 85 stuff and intercooler stuff and intake manifolds and all kinds of stuff. So, but when I go down there, I also need to get my small block Ford all the way together. I don't think it has an intake manifold or something on it. And the Cadillac, I'm probably going to get rid of both of those motors. So if anybody's interested in a small block Ford, it's basically a stock bottom end, a rebuilt one. and it has aluminum blueprint heads on it. I think that they're CNC ported too, but it's weird. They're CNC ported and then they have bolt down rockers on it, but it does have roller rockers on it. I'm putting a dual plane on it and a small Holley, like a 600 or something, and a distributor. So it'll be all complete and ready to go. It even has, which is probably the coolest thing on the, although the ported heads are really nice, but the coolest thing I think are the Ford Motorsport cast aluminum valve covers. They just make a small block Ford look really nice. Although it's hard to fit EFI manifolds on those valve covers because they're so tall, but they work really well. Let's see, Danny. Sorry, it wasn't an LSA supercharger. It was the STS Cadillac supercharger on the 6-liter. It wasn't working because the belt was slipping. Why is the Barra testing stalled? I don't have any parts for it. Do you have a bearing ring set that you recommend for a boosted stock bottom end intent on being drag raced? There's a lot of we run stock stuff in ours. So, and I think most guys do. I don't know that guys upgrade the bearings unless they're building a forged internals. Overbuilt, just popping in from sanding and polishing a piston. Nice. Oh, 30.5. So it's a board over. RC buggy was been on the tight side. No, normally that would be great. No, but not on an RC engine. That's right. Yeah, the Barras aren't my engines. They're somebody else's. Do you know the difference between the trick flow twisted wedge 185 street heads and the fully CNC ported 195 race heads? I can't find that you have tested 195s. I have tested 195 trick flow heads way back. I think I tested the 195s, and now I think they might be 205s. I'd have to go back and look. But I've never run those to the limit of what they flow anyways. I mean, I think that's a 300 CFM head, so I don't think I've ever put together a 600 horsepower combination for those heads. For bucket list lap of US, they want a small block Ford 6. I don't know what that is. Building an S10 with an L33 BTR Stage 3 truck cam with a VS Racing 7875 6-speed manual trans. I think any experience from that cam down low. Yeah, that cam's going to be soft. If you take a look at the video that I have up, I tested stage 1, 2, and 3 on a 5.3, and you can see the stage 3 is soft compared to the others. And for a 7875, you don't need that size cam. If you already have it, it's going to work. It will just be softer down low than another cam that you could use. So just a new set from GM Performance. We don't even replace them. We use the stock rings that came with the motor from the junkyard. We just put ring gap in them. But if you're going to put rings in it, you could put a high temperature ring from Total Seal or one of those guys. Will you ever revisit the STS Cadillac supercharger with a 6-liter? No, I won't. I have that here and I need to ship it out back to the owners. Why haven't Faster MSD made dual stage intake manifolds? It's really expensive to do that. Yeah, there will definitely be more testing on the Buick 455. Supercharger or turbo, which one wins? It depends on what you're trying to achieve. They both are good. Happy birthday. Have you compared open chamber heads to closed chamber heads holding the compression constant? I know it needs pistons, which is a teardown. I haven't done that test. If it helps you at all, the preferred combination in most forms of racing is a very small chamber and more of a flat top piston, flat top or small dish, whatever displacement the motor and compression combination dictates that you do, but usually a smaller chamber is preferred. Looking for 500, 500, and 3500 and 30. 5500 range suggests cam specs into what type of seats for a 10,000. Burton, I maybe not understanding what you're doing there. Tell me what the motor is and then what your power need is. I think 500 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds. Is that what you're talking about? In the 3500 range? Is it boosted? What is it? Why don't car manufacturers make engines like bike engines, 200 horsepower per liter? Yeah, that would be nice. Did you hear about Nelson talking about the manifold he's building on the sloppy show yesterday? I did not. I should have watched that. I really like Tom, and obviously I like Matt, so I missed it. Have you thought of a turbo 400 Ford? They have low compression, but a 400 Ford has factory forged pistons. The 400M does. And yes, I said 400M. 5.3 heads on a 6.0. Any LS cathedral port head on a 6-liter, and really any rec port head on a 6-liter will work. That's what I like to hear. Was about to head outside and work on my snowmobile and saw you were live. The sled can wait. That's a dedicated listener there. And am I guessing if you're going to work on a snowmobile that it's also pretty cold outside? Overbuilt. I don't think you need to worry about rings. Expensive rings on a combination like that. If you're running pump gas and it's going to be a turbo, I don't think you have to worry about that. For autocross, is turbo or supercharger better? I might lean a little bit more toward, and it depends on what kind of supercharger. You have a wide variety of different types. I think I might err more toward a supercharger, and I would lean more toward a positive displacement supercharger, I think. Will you ever do a Ford 300? Yes, that's definitely on the list. It's above freezing, so it's not bad. I was just complaining because there's a little bit of wind when I was out when it was 65 outside. Let's see. Here's $1 million question. I'm only going to give you about a $30 answer, though. I have an L26 3800 for a car that's going to cruise tons of miles and see the occasional road course trek day. Would you build the daylights out of it, NA or top swapping? I think it'll be easier for you to get the power and probably less expensive for you to get the power out of it by top swapping it. That's all wrecking yard stuff that's really easy. And you're going to see a significant change in power by putting a supercharger on it to get that kind of power. Because you're going to be, even if you just kept a stock camshaft, you're going to be at 300 with a blower. And I would swap the Gen 5 stuff on it so that you could be more than that. And then if you run E85, obviously it would be better. If you put a cam in it, you'd be better, but you'll never get to the power level of the top swap with an NA motor. It would be a lot of work to do that, and it'd be really expensive. Great to hear about the Buick 455. If you need a block, I have one. The block and everything is still in good shape. 18 degrees here in Massachusetts, yeah. Happy birthday. My birthday is the 22nd, and so you want some signed holder swag. Yeah, I have to sign. I got to make sure I sign these shirts, too. I sent something out the other day that I forgot to sign. I feel bad. How about a raffle off the T-shirt and give the proceeds to Holder as a birthday present? You can if you'd like to do that. I would use it toward the I'm spending a lot of money on a 3800 that I'm going to blow up fund. If that's I think that should be a good GoFundMe page, right? Ed, sorry for my bad timing. I got a late start. I was hoping to hook up before you started your stream. No problem. Is this about the radiator? I'm hoping. 366 hydraulic roller, 8-pound range would prefer a Novi centrifugal blow through CARB for sentiment, driving the interstate loop of USA. Okay, that will work. 24 inches of snow in Vermont. Yeah, that's the That's cold. Did you send that signed $20 bill in the mail to me yet? No, I sent those out to everybody too. Do you recall the power gain going from 317s to 823s on the LQ4? I'm sure it was, I don't know, 20 to 30 range probably. Your birthday is today. You took off work. Awesome. Happy birthday. This birthday is shared with Paul Gentilozzi, who's a very famous road racer, and also Ronald Reagan. Okay, guys, Casey is actually going to auction off the shirt. he won it; it's his, and so he's going to auction it off, and I guess donate the proceeds. So if you guys would like to bid on the shirt, you guys are free to do that. Yeah, I think the mailman's getting all the money. I'd like to see a Triton V10 with a big bang. I'd just like to see one of those run with boost. It would be enough. Okay, so I think it's time to give away something else. Okay. I have double wazoo throwdown billet timing gear for an LS, adjustable ability goodness, and then this part of it, that's the lower part. I think it also has, yeah, it has the spacer plates for the oil pump and stuff. So this is an LS. This is LS1. Here's the part number. Can you guys see that? Yeah, 144984-1. So if anybody's wanting to put a ability goodness on their LS, the answer is 2, obviously. So I think what we'll do on this one is, let's see. Let's come up with a good. We'll come up with a good question on this one. And so you guys have come here. You guys that have been here a lot will have an advantage here. I told a story about testing my Honda Civic, the top speed Civic, the one that I ran at Bonneville. That car went to 26 point something, 227 miles an hour. But I told a story one time when I was testing in our top secret test facility out at Area 52 outside of Las Vegas. Chock full of alien technology and chimera and all that stuff. I told a story about testing that, and it was the first time we were testing parachutes, and I was testing the parachute before we were taking the thing to Bonneville. What did I almost crash into when I was doing the top speed testing? So you guys can answer away and see if anybody remembers. See if anybody remembers my story. What did I almost run into while I was trying to test my Tom Cruise? I like that. You guys really should get points for that. An old shoe, a Sasquatch. Nice. Okay, so we got 2 guys that have it right. An alien. Yeah, that would have been cool. Nobody saying chuckwalla or a collared lizard or a cactus, a bird. Weren't you messing with the air intake placement? I just remember you didn't know how to wrap a chute. That was actually at Bonneville, but we didn't know how to wrap a chute because we were only going to get one try at this because I was going to pull the chute and then we didn't know how to pack it back up. So we had somebody else do it. A chupacabra, yes, that would be really good, right? Howard Hughes. I like the ingenuity here. Let's see here. Set this one aside. Let's see here. Jimmy Hoffa, nice. I like that. Style points for the Jimmy Hoffa. David Freiberger, nice. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, but it would have been Truck Norris, right? A Wombat, nice. A Sidewinder. A what are they? When we're driving out to the Silver State, there was something about this area has it was Paranagit ring-tailed chubs, and we never knew what that was. A Skinwalker. That's good points there. I like that. A Ninja. If you're Burton, if you're driving an F-150 and you're doing it on long drive, I put a small cam. A Dogman, a Werewolf. Government property signs. No, guys, the answer is truck, and there were 3 or 4 guys that got it. Scuba Sam, Scott got it, Robert, Antos got it. So let's say if you 4 guys now, the 4 guys that I mentioned, you guys pick a number between 1 and 10. So I'm thinking of a number. I'm going to write it down, and so pick the number. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Vash just picked 17. Nice. Scuba Sam. Really? Nobody's even picked the number? Pick a number again. Pick a number between 1 and 15. Why are other people picking numbers? There's only 4 people picking numbers here. Antos is our winner with 3. Okay, Antos, send me an email to this email address. Not that one. Yeah, send me an email there. Oh, and Casey said right now there's a bid of $20 for this yellow T-shirt. Come on, step up your game. This thing cost me more than $20 to make. Come on, get those bids up. All of that money is going to build the 3800 that I'm going to blow up for you guys. If I get enough bids, then I could get there's no way for me to get enough bids to use the super double throwdown Dragon Hump Wilson Racing Ability Goodness 90-degree elbow. That's a huge shirt. It's only a large though. It's not even oh, we got 25, we got 26, we got 30. Yeah, it is an adult large. Is that a bid overbuild? And Richard gets 300 emails, I know. 3,800 pennies, nice. I'm willing to bid on an unused 351 dart block. Where are we going to find one of those? Whoever wins the shirt will definitely be autographed. That's the very least I could do, right? Oh, Paul jumped up with 35. Someone's in the house because Paul cares. Oh, Antos is going 36. I want to see when people start going 3601 and start going all like Price is Right on them. Wow, this thing has a lot of dust on it. Can you see that? That's from this. Look at that. Man, I need to dust this thing more often. That's a championship winning Del Sol, and that's how I treat it, with dust. $40. Wow, that's big. See, where's the 01 stuff? That's what I want to see. 01. 38 is not going to get you anything. There's already a $40 one. Just so you guys know, this is coming up. Ooh, Crane Cami goodness. It's even an LS, and it's a mild one. But guess what? The question now is, oh, that will be the question for I I have a good question for the for the win for the camshaft. And then I also have this. Ugh, I have a carburetor. Good for a mild application. It's like a 500 CFM Edelbrock AVS carburetor. It's got a little air door on it. It's kind of cool. So if you've got a mild small block or small block Ford or Dodge or whatever, it's the reverse pattern cam. Points there for you, man. That's good stuff. I don't think I could give that cam away now, right? Although I bet there's a reverse pattern guy out there that wants to get that cam and then show me that it works. Love your short videos, but do make exceptions for Fords. Nice. 4001, James. I like that. I need that cam for my flat top 6-liter. Maybe I should give away that reverse pattern camshaft on another live feed, right? I have to see if I'm pretty sure I still have that. Would love to see a Ford 6.2 Boss engine tested. I've never run one of those. Oh, overbuilt. You got the other carb from that set. They were originally for the dual quad Hemi, which I still have the intake, and nobody seems to want that. You got to flip the pistons for the cam to work. I know, I really do. This shirt is a large. I have an L33. I really want one of those. I don't have one. I have an aluminum block that's probably an L33, but it has damage down by where the starter is, so I can't really use it to put in anything. Maybe I could weld it up, but I don't know if I have the piece that broke off. I haven't seen it in years. It's been down at the machine shop, but I could use it to run stuff on the dyno. Getaway stepped up to $50. I need an LS cam badly. I want to win. Karen wants to win something. You guys will all have an opportunity to win that camshaft because that will be coming up next. Why aren't you at Sick Week Racing? What is that, the YouTube thing? I don't have anything to race. I have a stock 2002 300,000 mile truck would be the only thing. My wife's Mercedes would be a lot faster than that. Richard, I have an L33 with 125,000 miles on it. Those are good motors. Justice, what is a good way to scam customers out of several hours of labor charges on a Mopar 360 build besides doing a piston flip? Wow, shots fired. I don't think that guys actually do that. I think, like for Tony, I know that he just does that as a matter of course when he's putting a motor together, that he just does that. So he's not taking one apart to do it. I don't think he's just doing it as a matter of course of building it. Which, if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. Is just do it going in so that you don't have to go through all the trouble like we did of flipping it. But it was cool to see, and I have to hand it to Dulcich and Freiberger because a lot of guys think, and I've had people tell me, oh, those are just like TV guys or whatever, but those guys are not. Of all the people that I know, those guys are real guys, more so than I am. Those guys build and do all kinds of crazy stuff, but they're laying under the motor while we were doing the filming, swapping the pulling the pistons out, putting them back in, swapping the rod, doing all that stuff. And so they really get after it. And I appreciate people like that. My 5.3 is 350,000 miles on it. Still drive. They last a long time. Can you get Uncle Tony to autograph the shirt? I probably could get David Weiser to autograph it. And I still owe somebody. I think I still owe Scott. Do I owe you the shirt, right? I owe Scott a shirt, I think. I think I do. I would be happy with a stock LS cam better than a stock 4.8. An LS1 cam would be a terrible choice for a stock 4.8. It loses a lot of power down low. Almost all of the other factory cams compared to the stock LM7 or LR4 camshaft lose power down low, and even more so on a 4.8 than a 5.3. Yeah, piranha get ring-tailed chubs. That's right. Only found in the Pahranagat Valley, apparently. I got a question. I see everyone build an LS, mostly a 5.3 turbo. So why not build something like a 632, big pro stock heads, twin turbo, more cubes? They do that. Guys build those for pro mods and stuff, but that's not what I do. Just the 632 is 25 grand probably. Oh, I got to. Oh, that's going to Kuwait. Okay. Uncle Tony had explained the piston flip was out of the direct connection catalog. I know, and the guys from Freiberger and Dulcich were totally familiar with that. I mean, everybody that has read that connection book did. That's why it was tested. It had nothing to do with Uncle Tony, really. Although when I was talking to him, I told him I was going to do this, and I told the guys from Motor Trend, I said, "Look, I got this motor so I can do this test. If you guys want to do this test on camera and want to do it for one of the episodes, I think it's pretty cool to test these kinds of myths." And they were all in, which I thought was kind of pretty cool. What do you got for a 6th-gen big block? I don't know if I have any other Gen 6 stuff. I don't think so. I might have a camshaft for it. I know I have a stock cam. You probably already had that though. The plans for the Nova are to take it down to West Tech and get it running, whatever that entails. Probably $45 for the t-shirt. Yeah. Probably I'm thinking with a big block in it. I need a 4G63 for my Eclipse. Do you think an H1E would work on an 8.1? What is an H1E? Is that a turbo? Jacob, you're giving us free advice. It's Spitfire fashion is priceless. I don't see anyone else doing this. I'm sure other guys are. There's lots of good guys out there on YouTube doing cool stuff. Casey, we have a $50 bid on the t-shirt. Wow. I've got a 420A for sale. Oh, it's a whole set. Okay, that sounded like a whole set number. I'd love to see the Cadillac turbo. I did do that already. I did that once unsuccessfully. I mean, it made good torque and good power. I just ended up hurting it. I blew a head gasket. $51 on the t-shirts. Any small block Ford camshafts? I think I do have some small block Ford camshafts. I don't think I have them here. I might have them down south. What I'm trying to do is get rid of the stuff that I have in storage, because 2 storage areas that I'm paying every month on, and it turns into a lot of money. Do I have any Truck Norris cams? No Truck Norris cams. Put a 2J in the Nova. No, that won't happen. It'd be more likely to get a 4200 in it, but the easiest thing would be to put a big block in it. I actually do have a Hemi cam. I have a 5.7 Hemi cam, a good one too. It's one of the last ones that I ran. It's a 220, 230 cam, I think. So if you're interested in that, I have that for sale. So if you are interested in the Hemi cam, use this email address again. In fact, I was going to post that today. Yeah, I have the 2 storage things are full. I need to go down, and I built shelving for one of them, and that worked out. That helped a lot. Built shelving for 2. Let's see, no, for one of them, and then I need more shelving in the second one, and that's where a lot of the engines are, and I need to get rid of some of those engines. MDX J37. I like the J37s. Those are nice. You guys will be seeing some J32 stuff coming up very shortly here. I'm working with Jimmy, and he has a bunch of information for me. He just got his AEM back, and so he's going to be doing some testing on the dyno here coming up. He's been driving the NSX around with a J32 in it, which is awesome. And so we should have not only some dyno stuff, but he's going to take it out and race it. So it will be good. Overbuilt, what's going on? You will send me an email. We need to talk. $50 for the YouTube for the YouTube plaque. Oh, for that one up there. That took a lot to get that. Yeah, the J32 is cool. He already has that 67 or 69 millimeter PTE precision turbo that's on there, and it's working really well. And he's really good at data logging, and so we're going to do some cool stuff with that. We're going to do some drag strips. I'm going to go out and see him, and we'll go to the drag strip and stuff. And then we're going to take down the boosted boys. Probably not. Happy birthday. Thanks, Kevin. All of this Super Chats money, that's going right tonight when I go out. To a different setup without changing computers. What was the question? You can replace the spider injection. Do you have a TPIS mini RAM? No. 4.6 valve cams. I don't have any lifters, but I might have 4.6 valve cams. I think that on the 96, I think that the factory Vortec intake manifold with the spider injection is pretty good, I think, for torque. I haven't actually run one of those, but we've run some of those on the chassis dyno, and they seem to work fairly well. I just don't know how to do any tuning on them. How much would you need for the 3800 Big Bang? I don't know. It depends. I want to do something for Eric with the heads. We're going to do that. I'm getting a different camshaft for it. I'm going to be porting the heads or porting the intake manifold, which I can do that. I'm going to be making a plate. I was thinking about doing something on the exhaust too, but I think what I'm going to do is just run the tubular headers on that. And then I'm going to run a couple of different turbos on it. I don't think I have to do. Oh, I take that back. I'm going to have to take the motor apart. I'm going to have the deck machined surface so that it will work with the MLS head gaskets. And we're putting ARP head studs on it. And so I have to get the MLS head gaskets. I have to get that machined. I'll do the ring gap on it. We'll put it back together. Somebody was telling me about an oil pump on these that needs to be upgraded too. Contribution to lemon drop fund. Yes, there could be never too much lemon drop fund. Once you're done playing with the 5.9 Magnum, let me know. The 5.9 Magnum may go away as a complete motor. I'm probably not going to do a big bang on that. I don't see the reason to do that. And if I did, I would do it with a carbureted intake or something probably. You can send me an email for the 4.6 valve cams. I don't know if I have them. I have to go down south to look and see if I have any more. Do you have the 400M you use? I don't. That's gone. Do I have a custom ground cam? No, it probably won't. Well, I don't know. I would like to do a custom one. I just don't know how long that will take. But or I'll just do maybe the big. Who's the other company that makes them besides EZP? And we are going to test the chili bomb on the 3800. Have you run an aftermarket or ported Gen 5 LT head? The guys from Brian Tooley have. I haven't tested it. Any old school small block parts? Yeah, I do have some small block Chevy parts. I think I've got, I want to say I have valve covers. I think I have a 2-piece timing cover set. I have some timing chains. I might have some rods. I have some small block stuff. What's your go-to gasket for 12 to 18 pounds of boost on a Gen 353? The LS9 factory gasket is fine. You can do a small bore gasket. We use the LS9 gaskets on the Big Bang stuff, so they're more than good enough. We also use Felpro stuff a lot, which is also good. We used on the previous Big Bangs, and they've all held, so none of them did we have a problem with. On one of them, we even used the truck manifold or the truck gasket that comes in the kit. Might be interested in the entire Magnum. Okay, that's down the line a little bit because we got a lot of testing that I want to do. Overbuilt, thank you very much. I'll take a look at the. Let's see, maybe a banner with your email behind you. Watermark. Well, the email is on my channel too. It's up on the channel. It's in my description. Undercam is definitely the way to go. Did Getaway, who won the t-shirt? Getaway for the win. Yes, yes, Getaway, send me an email. And so Getaway on the t-shirt. Sign. And then who won the, okay, Antos won the timing gear. Timing gear. Any Ellis intake manifolds? I don't think I have any Ellis intake manifolds. The only one, I was going to say I have an LS4, but I don't even have that because I'm going to send that back to the gentleman who loaned it to me to test. But you wouldn't want that anyways. When will you use the trick flow big block Mopar setup? I don't know. I need to get a big block Mopar combination put together. I don't even have one. I need to put together a 440. I want to build like a 512 or something like that. Okay, so now I think we're going to do the camshaft. Ugh. So this is a crane cam. We'll go ahead and read the specs on this. I want to make sure that this is the right one. So this is a mild cam. This is actually a good one. This is a, where's our lift at? 502, 502. It is a dual pattern, not a reverse pattern. It is a 200, 208. So we know that worked good. And it is a 114, 116, so 115 LSA. In case you're wanting the specs. Intake opening at 50 thousandths, 14 degrees after top dead center. The exhaust opens at 40. The intake closes at 34. The exhaust closes at 12. And then I also have the cam timing at 4 thousandths, but advertised duration is 262 and 270. And it's designed for a 5.7 liter Vortec 4.8 5360 with a 1:7 rocker ratio. So the question is, and you guys need to think about this because this is very complicated. Make sure that's the right one. So the question is this a turbo cam? so let me know the answers. And we're going to choose somebody randomly because I think more than one person might get the answer to this. Is this a turbo cam? So what I'm going to do is it's the best turbo cam. Every cam is a turbo cam. Nice. Every cam is a turbo cam. Everybody kind of has the idea there, right? Okay, we have 152 people watching right now. So what you guys are going to do is everybody pick a number, ostensibly, every cam is a turbo cam. Everybody pick a number between 1 and 150, let's say. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Lisa a text, and she is going to pick a number between 0 and 1 and 150. And the random number is the one that's going to win. Lisa, pick a number. Hello. Okay, we have something very important. Okay. We need you to pick a number between, but we gotta do it you gotta do it quietly. You need to pick a number between 1 and 150. Just a random number. And that's going to decide who wins a camshaft. Okay, so yeah, they're all picking right now, but it doesn't. You can just tell me, and I'm just going to write it down, and then I'll tell them who won. Wow. Okay, Lisa, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 150 randomly, and then we're going to see who won. So pick a number and tell everybody what it is.
All right. Nobody can get mad at me.
No, they can't.
Okay. I say 99.
Yay! Did anybody pick? Who? Tell me who picked 99. Thanks, Lise.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. All the people are picking 99 after 99 came up. You don't get to do that. Everybody that's picking 99 now, after Lisa gave the answer, I'm going to ban all of you from the channel. So see you later. Here we go. You're done. You're done. You're done. Did anybody pick 99 beforehand? Before everybody decided to pick it? So let's see here. Uh, 82. When did you pick 90? I'm going to go back and look. I think we have a winner. Let's go back up here and see when you guys are picking numbers here. Wheelbase Media. See, you got a 82. Of course, not let me go up any further. Is Lisa open to bribes? Yes, for raspberry lemon drops, she definitely will. I know, now they're all typing it in. So it looks like, I think we have 3 of them, right? I can only go so far back up in the past chats. Well, I thought I could go all the way up. $82, yeah. $3.99, 3 winners. I only have 1 camshaft. I think you may have to wait till after the stream ends to see the full chat. Chop the cam and give a third to each one. It's my birthday today. And it will be determined by what I see on my feed, not other people's feed. Because I've been through this before where people were complaining that, oh, they've sent me screenshots of their thing where theirs first, whatever. I'm like, look, here's how it appears on my thing. Ultimately I'm gonna pick the winner anyway. So it's how it appears on mine. Yeah, it's not I don't know why it's a big deal. It's just a camshaft. So I think those are all of them, right? We did the camshaft. Did we we didn't do the carburetor yet, right? Or did we do the carburetor? Oh no, we haven't done the carburetor yet. So we'll do the carburetor next. I'm sure everyone's going to be really happy about that. Maybe I'll pick some esoteric question that only one person will know, and then that will be better. you need a carb too. We all do, right? I can't believe how blown out all this stuff is. So we need a carb question, right? So I got to think up a good carb question. If only Brule was here, the carb whisperer, he would know. It's got to be random. Will you tune it before shipping? It's already tuned. It's tuned right out of the box. I think we ran them when we ran them on the dual quad deal. We ran them out of the box, and it worked perfect. A blow through. It's not a blow through carb. Scott's out. Thank you, man. Make sure you sign the boxes. I know. I forgot. So I will on the camshaft. I'll go back and look at the feed and see which one was first. But all four of you guys make sure to send me emails so I have the right one to choose from. So on the carburetor, trying to come up with a good carburetor question. and the answer is definitely yes. I mentioned my name in the next Hot Rod article. I don't write for Hot Rod anymore. What was the first automotive carb ever made? I'm trying to think of a good one. Okay, I got one. I got a good carburetor question. So this is the for the win next. So the question is, and I'll just pick randomly from somebody that, because there may be more than one person that gets the question. It'll be easy because there's only two possible answers. So think about this. What is the most amount of nitrous that I have ever run successfully? Was it on a carbureted or EFI LS? The email address that you send information to is this. And as a tiebreaker for everybody that's getting the answer right, 52 jet. Wow. How much power did we add? And honestly, I might need to look that one up really quick, so I have to see how much power we added on that. So you guys do your thing over there, and I'll look up some 5.3 stuff. So has anybody? So the answer obviously is carbureted, because when I tried to do the big bang on the EFI one, it ended up breaking. So that wasn't successful. So how much power did I add? Nobody has the number right yet. The question is, the most amount of nitrous that I've ever run successfully on an LS motor, how much was that? How much power did it add? Well, the first question was it carbureted or fuel injected? The answer is carbureted. So lots of guys have that. How much power did it add? Not what was the total, how much did it add above the NA motor? Still waiting. A lot. Yes, it definitely added a lot. It was a single plate. It is a good question. But I like all the guessing, though. That's good. I haven't run Dari racing cams in California. I'm not familiar with them. We're getting lots of guesses. Bob Marley's birthday. Points for that. It can't be more than 250. Yes, it can be more than 250. A 165 horsepower increase wouldn't be very much. 666 would be a lot. Nobody's gotten it. Nobody's nailed it yet. There's only one stage because it was a single plate. Yeah, the 500 that was tried, that was on the EFI one. That's what that broke it. This is not that one. Got a couple guys that are close. Yeah, we eventually removed the jet, and it didn't do anything because we were at the limit of something else, either the plate or the solenoid or whatever it was. The 500 shot needs that. The big bang nitrous thing needs to be redone because that was not a very good effort. We got guys that are close, but nobody's nailed it yet. Keep throwing guesses out there. Somebody's going to just randomly get it. Man, the guesses are coming in now. They're going by so fast I can't even see them all. Holy moly. Now it's just flooding. Okay, we have a winner. Man, I thought that would get past. EC Velo at 302. We had a lot of 301s. He had a 301. Then he said 302. Doing the prices right. That's smart. So here, send me an email to that email address so I can get your address and stuff. Congratulations on your 302 guest. We had lots of 301s. We had 300s. We even had a 303, and it was kind of surrounding it. But in the end, 302 horsepower because it went from, let's see. $756 from okay. So we went from 454 to 756. So the answer was 302 horsepower. So you won. So make sure to send me an email about that. Yusuf had 301, was very close. That's the CARB. Rasmussen had 301. I mean, not, yeah, Yusuf had 301. Rasmussen had 301. Puppet Master had 303. There's a lot of guys that were close. So EC Velo, send me an email to that email address. 302 horsepower is how much is added. It went from 454 horsepower to 756. It was just a junkyard 5.3 with a cam in it, basically, and it was a carbureted one with a single plane Victor or Victor Jr. and a carburetor on it. It's when I did the shootout with Kamikaze Chris from Street Outlaws, and we just did a shootout between two motors and running as much nitrous as we could. And as it turned out, we had perimeter plates on both of them, and we went to the limit of something in either the flow of the perimeter plate, because we took the jetting out of it and just flowed all the nitrous that we could. We jacked the bottle pressure up. So we were at the limit of either the plate or the solenoid, maybe. Mike, you can always ask any question. That's why the question and answer thing is here. We all get to answer questions. Okay, email sent. Thank you very much. Mine didn't make 771. What's the song you bob your head to the end of the videos? That's the intro music that is in all of the other videos that are not the live videos. What are the carb specs? It's a part number 1803 Elbrock. It's a 500 CFM ABS carburetor. Casey, thank you very much. Maybe I'll have to think the LS swap for the best cam. The best cam from Matt is a good cam. It's sized well for lots of different applications. You can run that cam and make lots of power with it. And so it's big enough to do that. And it's also small enough. I don't know that I would pick that. Like, I don't know that I would pick that cam over a Truck Norris cam, for instance, for a daily driver truck. But that cam would be good. And in my opinion, is better than a sloppy stage 2 cam because it's smaller for like 4.8s and 5.3s. It doesn't make as much peak power as a 228 sloppy stage 2 cam does because that's a bigger cam, but it will make more low speed power. And so that will be better for response. And so that is now the way that I look at the camshafts is like, what is my ultimate goal? And then how can I make the most power all the way through the like RPM range? And I know guys want to see wide open throttle at idle or whatever. We can't do that on the engine dyno. What about an LS3 and a daily driver cam wise? That's also not a great cam. If you look at the factory cam video that I did, that LS3 cam, just like the LS2 and the LS6 cam, lose a lot compared to the LM7 camshaft. And so I would pick an aftermarket cam like this 200, 208 or the 210 cam that we did, or a Truck Norris or any a stage 1 truck cam, that torque cam. Any of those smaller cams will be a lot better than the LS3. The LS3 is not bad. It makes fairly good power. It'll make a lot more peak power than a factory 4.8 or 5.3 truck cam by a pretty fair bit. And the same thing with the LS9 cam. It's just that they trade a bunch of power down low, and I kind of, I don't like that trade-off. What's your ideal build for a daily driver? Well, my daily driver is just all stock, so that's how I have mine. I think the best cam name is Marketing Genius. Yeah, you should ask Matt who came up with that name. Gotta go. Thank you guys all for showing up. Well, no, that's somebody else is saying that. I'm not saying that yet, but in 2 more minutes, it's time to go. Again, thank you guys all for showing up and being part of this and sharing the birthday wishes. And people get riled up when you're giving away free stuff like it's the end of the world. There will be more of that. If I need an intake to clear a low hood and can't find any used car intakes, what should I get for a budget? The factory LS6 is good if you can't find that. The Dorman, but those are kind of expensive. The truck manifold and the Trailblazer SS are good, but they don't fit under the hoods. I do have plans for the 240Z. I need to replace a 302 my 88 Bronco. I've never been to a junkyard before, but I know you love them. Michael tells me I should see a motor run before I pull it. Any suggestions? You won't be able to see it run. What we do is we spin it over and make sure that, like, you can bring that. We didn't even bring a battery. We just went and borrowed one of their batteries and just jumpered it and cranked it over. And we actually did a compression test with the 4200 Atlas motor. You can see in the video it's just blowing oil up because it had a leak. But we actually did a compression test if you want to do that. I don't normally do that. Usually we just we'll take the plugs out, make sure that it spins. If it does spin, usually if it spins, it wins. Not always, but they're not going to let you start them. You could make that happen too, but it would be a little bit more work. I think it was Lucky that named it. No. I've seen most of your videos and don't remember you testing an LS7 cam. In all of the stock cams, I tested the LS7 cam. I also tested the LS7 cam. We added 1.8 rockers and show you what happened when we did that. The LS7 cam makes the same power as the LS9 cam. Yeah, a 4.8 with an LS6 cam is not really, like I said, it loses a lot down low. So does the LS9, so does the LS3. Getaway, thank you very much. Brian Peterson, thank you very much. The fast intake is a really good one. Yeah, the 240Zs are nice. And I had a 260 also. I had an early one. Yeah, my first car was a 70 split bumper Camaro. I had a tri-power Corvette that I should have kept. Freiburger has a bunch of different cars. Ever done an SD LS6 Power Max or Power Max Plus? I have not. I don't think I've ever tested those. The Speedmaster intake is cheap. That aluminum version that they have. I had a 4.8 GT45, an LS2 cam. It was soft until 4,000 RPM. That I would expect that. If you look at the NA power output, if you look at the NA curves in the cam test, you'll like, and you see the difference, you're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. And it's even worse with a turbo because when it's that far down, 4.8's down anyways, down low because it's small. And then when you put cam in it, it makes it even worse. And then you don't have boost. And so it's really exaggerated on a turbo combination. 5.3 with a comp cams, 259. That should be a good one. 71 GT4 GTX. Yeah, those are all good cams. Truck Norris cam is only slightly larger than an LS2 cam. I think you'd find that a Truck Norris cam has a lot better low speed power than an LS2 cam. A 70 Javelin AMX, yes, nice. 72 Chevelle. What do you think about elongating flex plate holes to make a 6-hole a dual pattern? I've done that on the dyno before. I don't know that I would do that in a vehicle though. We've got a new crate, Gen 6 454. Will ring gap and a cam be good enough for a turbo? Yeah, you're gonna need springs too with that camshaft though. Where's the Nova project? It's just sitting right now. I'm setting a car up for bracket racing. I'm thinking using a 35 horse nitrous kit to mitigate atmospheric conditions and high DA values. That'll be interesting. Do you think that there's a 35 horsepower adjustment in DA? Yes, Casey, thanks everybody who bid on the t-shirt. Charles, you're looking to make more torque out of your 6-liter. You and millions of other guys. A small cam like that torque cam or the Truck Norris cam is good. Keep long runner intake. Long tube headers help for that. Compression helps. Get rid of the 317 heads and put a 706 or a 799 head on it. All that stuff helps. An LS1 5.7 bottom end. What makes more power? An 862 or a 243 head? I have a 78 Olds Delta LS2 cam. The 862 head I would make more low, certainly more low speed power than the 243 head, or at least it has in my testing. Do you think intake manifolds are worth the money? Take a look and see all the intake tests that I did, and you get to decide whether or not that amount of power is worth the money. Can the perfect heads cam for transmission gearing and axle ratio be designed with software? I don't know. Maybe if you had enough data, you could get an idea. Singles or twins for a Gen 6 454. Either one of them will work. It's going to depend usually on packaging. I try to respond to all the comments if I can. Sometimes they go by really fast. If get a bunch of questions all at once, I can't do it. But I try to answer as many as I can. I know you have a stock daily. Do you have any desire to drive a big horsepower weekend car, or are you all about the data? I don't drag race. The stuff that I've been doing is road racing and land speed records. So I do something different than that. What's your favorite kind of cake? The cake I'm having tonight is ice cream cake. Are you close to a full-time YouTuber? That's all that I do now. I mean, I do dyno testing and stuff that I do the videos on, but that's what I do now. What years did you run SCCA? I bought my car in 87. So I think I started showroom stock in 88, maybe. What's the best collector length? I don't know, and I don't have an answer to that. You should be more concerned, I think, with primary length of the header than collector length, but because you're going to have the collector length is going to go into the exhaust, so effectively you're going to have a big collector length extension on it anyway. What's a good blow-through carb? I've only used two different kinds of blow-through carbs. One is CSU, and the other one was a Quick Fuel, I think was the other one. Yeah, longer primaries for low end. How do you feel about motorcycles? I've had lots of motorcycles. I have a DT 125. I've had a CL 100, a 500 Interceptor, a 600 Ninja, a GSXR 750, a couple of other, a DT 100 also, Honda Spree 50cc scooter. A 240 can make a nice Bonneville car. Yeah, I wouldn't do that to it. Any suggestions on tuning LT1? I don't do factory tuning stuff because I'm not really a tuner. Richard, are your YouTube viewers older or younger? I think the majority of them are younger. How long is a long run? A long run on what? 5.3 with BTR stage 1 truck cam comparable with the low end of an L98 TPI would be going into another C4. I don't think you'll get an LS to make the low speed power of a tune port motor. I don't think. I need to go back and look and see. I have lots of stock tune port stuff, so I can kind of, but I don't know how low we ran them. I'd have to go back and look and see how they compare. The LS is so much better that it may have more low speed power just because it's more efficient, but I don't think it will. I think that the torque production of that tune port motor is going to be pretty good, and it's bigger. It's 350 inches. What's the best engine management system for adding a turbo to a 99 4.3 liter? I don't know. I test only on Holley and Fast and MS3 Pro. I never use the factory stuff, so I don't do that. Eric and Ish do all that. So they don't remember adjusting points. You're talking about the viewers, maybe? Maybe some of the viewers don't. Thank you, Oliver. Thoughts on high lift summit cam versus BTR sloppy? Are there downsides of going to 600 lift? I don't think there's a downside of going to 600 lift. In my opinion, there are downsides maybe to going more than that. I ran IT, RS, GT3, San Francisco region. When I raced I lived in Southern California when I bought my Mustang to go showroom stock racing. We ran an SSGT, and I ran down in the San Diego region. I ran it. God, what was the name of it down there? It was on an airstrip way down near the border. Oh, how long did I run? The most I've run is a half marathon, and I only did that because I wanted to do that, and I didn't do that in an event. I used to have my wife just drive me out in the country, and then I would run back. And I was running back, and I think it was at about the 11 or 12 mile mark, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, instead of just going back home, which I was almost home, I ran an extra distance just because I had a GPS, just so that I could say I ran that, and I will never do it again, I don't think, because it was it's really hard on you. And when I was doing it, I brought one, and I don't think I ate breakfast either. I brought one bottle of water and one granola snack thing, and I ran with those. So every mile I would take a drink so that I didn't run out of, and I didn't want to stop, because when I run, I don't like to stop. That's one of my rules. I went and ran today. Went and ran hills today. It was probably 2.5 or 3 miles, but it had a really big hill on it, and I just wanted to see if I could get up to the top of the hill, and I could. but the long run was a mistake. I've done other stuff that's 10 miles or so. And when I was young, when I was running cross country, like in high school stuff, we ran fairly long stuff. But I honestly don't remember running like a half marathon when we did that, because even our LSDs, our long slow distance days, were only about 8 or 10 miles. Charles, the email is, I put the email down several times today. You can go back, and it's also on the channel, but I'll put it here so you can see it. 95,302 AFRs, 264 cam, like the low end of my EcoBoost. Really small turbos then, if you're wanting. Those EcoBoost things are really small and they're really responsive. So to get that, you're gonna have to put some pretty small turbos on there. GSXR 1100, nice. 1300 GSXR. I always wanted I did always want a Hayabusa, but I don't know if I'll ever get one of those. Okay, guys, it's time to go. Thank you guys all for showing up, and everybody that joined in on the birthday celebration. Congratulations to the guys that won, and I'm sorry for the guys that didn't. I'll go through and look up the information on the cam stuff. Again, thank you guys all for the wishes, and you guys have a good day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.